It's one, if not the first step in planning a wedding, choosing your venue. In this video, I'm going to share how to set up a successful and efficient day of touring venues. You could spend months popping in at all the venues that you have interest in, and you'll still have doubts about what's the best fit. Or you can follow this step-by-step approach and dedicate 1 to 2 days to find the best venue for your style and needs. I'm going to share exactly how we set up venue visits for our planning and design clients so that you can do it for yourself if you don't have a planner or if you're using the help of a coordinator. Step 1, choose dates where you can spend the full business day touring wedding venues. Most wedding venues are closed on Monday and have events on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you want to maximize the number of venues you can visit in a day, choose a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Thursday for this tour. I see couples make 2 mistakes when it comes to doing this. First, couples will try to pop in after work here and there to catch a tour. They are getting a shortened version of the tour because the coordinator leaves at 5 and because the tours of multiple venues are scattered. So they have a hard time remembering all the details and the prices of what's included across various tours. The other mistake couples make is trying to get these tours done on event days, either by scheduling an appointment or just popping in during event setup. The problem those couples have is that the venue coordinators play a big part of event day. So if they're doing a great job for their current clients, they probably won't be fully available to the couple. They are going to prioritize the event that is setting up that day. Plus, very few venues agree to give tours on event days. So basically, you get limited availability, and if you do get a tour, it's distracted. Okay, so set aside the tour dates. And the last mistake I see is that couples get very excited after getting engaged and jump to tour venues almost immediately before doing any preparation. So some couples even book a venue before looking at a budget or style or even what's included at the venue. So slow down. Mark the dates on your calendar and start off on good footing. Step 2 is to choose which venues you want to tour. If you haven't already, create a mood board. Here's our video on how to do that. Try to narrow your venue visits down to places that match the vibe you were going for. You don't need to see every possible space, just the ones that are likely to be the one. You probably already have a few venues you're interested in. Explore the surrounding areas for similar venues so you can get a good sample of what's available. At this point, you want to keep your actual wedding date flexible. When you contact venues to set up a tour, give them the time of year you'd like to get married rather than locking down an exact date. Allow 1 hour for each tour and know how much time it will take for you to get from one place to the next, and remember to take into account parking, especially if you're considering venues within a busy city. When we do our venue tour days for planning clients that are interested in the French Quarter of New Orleans, we actually book out a transportation company to bring us from place to place. We've found that the cost of a private car is worth it after the various parking fees and the time lost in finding parking and moving around or even trying to use rideshare. Car service that can drop you at the doorstep of the venue can save hours on tour day. Maybe you have a friend who will do the honor and you can save a few $100s going that route. Step 3 is to put together the schedule for the day. After emailing and calling back and forth, you may need to move things around so that you can maximize your time. Don't be afraid to ask to rearrange time so you can fit more tours into one day. Also remember to schedule in a break for lunch. Step 4 is to attend prepared. Ask the same set of questions for each venue and keep your notes organized. If you are up for doing this electronically, I highly recommend it. Set up a wedding Google Drive folder system. You can see our video on how to do that here. And you can put Google Doc Notes directly into the folder. Upload pamphlets and contracts and have them all in one place. You can even upload your pictures and your videos of the venue to that folder. Work to understand not only the pricing, but what's included with that price. Some venues require that you book certain rentals like a dance floor or a tent. Others require that you have a coordinator or a planner. Those little details may increase the price of one venue compared to the other. Ask about anything that you hope to include in your day. So if you want a sparkler exit, make sure they allow that. If you envision the ceremony and the reception happening in the same place, ask if they're going to help flip the space or move everything around. Also bring with you a checkbook or some sort of method of payment, because if you fall in love with a venue, you may be able to cut everything short and sign a check right there, especially with popular venues that may only have 1 or 2 dates left in your preferred wedding season. I also highly recommend asking for a layout of the space with a setup that would work for your guest count. You can always ask for this later, but I find that seeing the layout can go a long way in helping you envision how the space would work while you're looking at it. So an empty room is kind of hard to map out. You also want a written contract or a proposal or some sort of pricing document. Prices change over time, so keep in mind this may only be good for a limited amount of time, but you still need it to compare that venue to other venues that you visit. An actual contract is also important because the restrictions and rules about what can and cannot take place should be there. So in summary, bring a set of 5 to 10 questions that you'll ask every potential venue, a checkbook or a method of payment. While there, make sure you ask for a layout, a sample contract or a list of rules and regulations, and a pricing document, and a list of preferred vendors if they have one. Step 5 is to choose the venue. This can happen during the tour when you find the one, or you may need to take a few days to review documents and pricing and pictures. Either way, make a plan to solidify this step in the planning process so you can move on to the next steps. Most vendors are going to be hesitant to book with a client that doesn't have a venue booked. Vendors know how dates fill up and how clients often have to change their ideal date to fit their favorite venue schedule. So they'll want to know that you have booked that date before agreeing to working with you. For example, a photographer will not want to sit down with you and send out a proposal and book your date just to find out that you changed the date and they're already booked for the new date. And that's it. 5 steps to make the most of your venue tour. Thanks so much for watching and happy wedding planning.